Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us here live from Los Angeles. This is Mondays with Wallace. I'm your host, Wallace Peoples. We speak to you live every Monday about cannabis anything, cannabis everything. You are on Flight 420 live from Los Angeles. Thanks for being aboard. Today we have Stephen Cotton here.
Good afternoon.
We will be taking phone calls at 424-227-9461. We are live on Facebook. We are on Instagram, and you can get us also on SoundCloud if you do podcasts. Again, I am Wallace Peoples. Today we have, if you all notice, our new T-shirts, Flight 420. I'm thankful to have them. It has a little moniker on the side, or this side. It says podcasts, Mondays with Wallace podcast. I've even got Mr. Cotton with a
Hop on board, Flight 420.
Thanks for being here. Welcome aboard. So, Stephen, 50% of the entire country will stay where they live, where they were born. You were born in Los Angeles, I believe. 50% of the people who were born in Los Angeles, or 50% of people that were born in Ohio, will actually stay there. That is not the case with our LeBron James. LeBron James is now being welcomed to Los Angeles. Now,
welcome to the West.
Yeah,
Lakers are back. Showtime, baby.
I was so disappointed being from Ohio and being an avid Clipper fan. I had felt that maybe he would hang around Cleveland, and I thought he'd resign with Cleveland. He was such a boon to the community. He was such a boon to the economy. Losing LeBron, I thought, was just horrible. But my God, being in Los Angeles is just amazing, just an amazing place.
Who doesn't want the keys to the city? LA is the greatest city ever, and now LeBron is the king of LA. It was an opening after Kobe stepped down. It was an opening in LA. It was a vacancy, and now LeBron got the keys to the city. The West Coast is back.
Well, I absolutely think LeBron is the king. I absolutely think LeBron is the best to ever suit up. I really believe that. In my heart of hearts, I really believe that. One problem I see with him coming here is he will forever be chasing Kobe Bryant's legacy. He'll forever be under the guise or under the shadow of Kobe.
I thought that too. But if you look at it, it could really help his legacy. A lot of people hate LeBron. They're not LeBron James fans. They don't like how he went to Cleveland. They don't like how he went to Miami. Now that he's a Laker, he comes here and wins a couple championships. I think they'll forget about that. And he can really new image for him coming to LA. And think about all his endorsements and brands. LeBron wants to get into entertainment and movies and acting. What better place to do that in LA?
Well, you're right.
He's a billionaire right now.
Yes, he is. He is. And time will certainly tell. I think at the end of the day, and this is the question that I ask you, and I ask my listeners, and anyone that's listening, will LeBron have a statue in front of Staples?
I mean, he's got to get some championships. He gets a couple championships, I'll give him a statue out there. Why not? Put him out there with Kobe and Magic and all them.
I say no.
Why not?
I say no.
You don't think you ever will?
I don't think he'll ever get a statue.
I'm going to prove you wrong.
In 5 years, in 5 years, he signed a 4-year, I believe, $53 million contract. And I don't know, 4 years. So
2 championships.
Can he? So you think 2 championships with the Western Conference the way that it is?
2 championships
with the Western Conference that has this perimeter offense. The Western Conference, which is a 3-point shooting league, thanks to, as you all know, a previous show of ours, High Scoring and Boring, where we seemed to feel that marijuana was contributing to the very high 3-point put out of the NBA teams. Where are you with that one? Do you still feel that the culture of the NBA has changed?
Yeah, everybody's shooting a 3, man. Nobody wants to go to basket anymore.
No one. And it's that way when you go to the...
It's hard on your body when going to them baskets with those big guys, man. Sit out there and shoot those threes. Your career lasts a little longer.
Your career lasts longer. Mm-hmm. LeBron is a player that goes to the rim. He has increased his 3-point presence, but excuse me, but largely he does go to the rim. Yesterday was July. Today is July the 2nd, 2018. Yesterday, there were some new regulations in California. And some of the new regulations require that the cannabis that we sell today be properly licensed. Mm-hmm. That being said, yesterday was simply fire sale for marijuana. Anyone buying weed, anyone buying cannabis, anyone buying anything at all, they were able to get cannabis at, I understand, 70% off, 70% discounted prices, because a lot of the people who make and had cannabis, a lot of their product did not comply to the new California regulations, which were around since, I believe, February, although they're just starting to enforce it now. I know you sell some product, and tell us about your company again.
Yes, we are SC Edibles, Southern California Edibles. We have several products, and with the new law, we are forced to comply and label our products with the THC content, the CBD content, and also put a barcode on there so that you can scan the barcode and see who grew your weed and what nutrients were used in your marijuana.
I'm going to hold it up. I'm not sure if my listeners or my readers can see it. It's called Dank Tank. It's a premium solvent-free. What does SAP mean? SAP?
This is a solvent sap, which is made from the THC. We call it a sap because we get it pure, and it's a distillate, so that it is it's almost the purest form of THC you can. There's not a whole lot of other chemicals in there. Pure THC.
I see the triangle CA on there with the marijuana plant, which I think is a little odd because the marijuana plant is not something that we smoke. Is that correct?
Well, yes. You're smoking the buds of the plant. You don't smoke the leaves of the plant. You smoke the buds of the plant.
Mm-hmm. So when people say I'm gonna go smoke a bud, that's what they mean basically. And the product that you're getting, is there a by use date on here? Is there a expiration date?
No, there's not an expiration date on here. Weed does get better over time.
I see.
So these will not go bad on you. And as long as you store them in a cool, dry place, you don't want to have it in a hot place. So you can damage your cartridge. If you store it in a warm place, it will damage your cartridge. And when you hook it up to your battery or your vape pen, it may not pull right. So as long as it's in a cool place, these will last you forever.
Many of our listeners do not smoke. I don't smoke. Although it's so intriguing, and the amount of information out there is absolutely amazing. So how would you utilize something like this? Is this the same as smoking marijuana or weed?
So a lot of people
would you smoke this? You would smoke this?
No, a lot of people are used to your normal form of actual flower, which is when you take your buds, you grind your buds, and you put them in a joint, you put them in a cigar, and you smoke the actual flower. This Dank Tank is a cartridge used for vaporizing. Vaping is the new technique that people are using to get high so that you don't smell as bad, because this doesn't give off a bad odor.
Oh, does it have an odor?
It doesn't give off a bad odor. It has a smell, a slight smell to it, but it goes away because it's just vaporized. The actual cigars and the flowers and the joints, they leave a tar, and that smell hangs around for a longer time. So people like to vape because they can get high and they don't have to smell bad, and they can hit the vapes in quick places. People hit these in the airports. People hit these in casinos. People hit these in the movie theaters, like our guest last week
said. You can
said.
actually smoke this in a movie theater.
You can hit it in a movie theater. By the time somebody comes in that movie theater, they're not going to know where it came from.
Oh, I see. But they'll have an idea that someone's smoking. It's okay. I'm okay with it.
They'll see a vape pen, but they won't be able to locate you. It goes away. The vaporized smell doesn't linger. It doesn't linger at all.
Some of the California regulations seem to steer away from inviting children to smoke. And I notice our product here is called Gorilla Glue number 4. Now that would be if and in our studio, by the way, we have a couple of young ladies that are with us from Ohio. They are just observing us. So if I were to show them Gorilla Glue, it seems like that would be inviting to children. Am I wrong about that?
Not like a strawberry swisher. A strawberry swisher, a chocolate swisher, or a chocolate Dutch or honey berry backwood.
Yeah.
Those are the things that have been inviting the children. I think it is inviting the children too. I think there's some rules and regulations that need to go in place, because when I'm looking at these commercials, it's straight advertisement to children. They want to smoke these flavors, these lemon swishers and things like that. So advertising to kids, it does need to be researched and taken a look at.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely agree. I have to wonder how you draw the line, though. This is called Dank Tank. It rhymes. It's it's attractive.
Catchy. It's marketing.
It's good.
I also have Skywalker OG. I brought a couple different flavors today. We have Skywalker OG, we have Gorilla Glue, and we have Girl Scout cookies.
Girls. Oh, Steven,
yeah, that one's a little.
That's Girl Scout. Oh my God! Come on.
Girl Scout cookies.
Is it really called Girl Scout cookies?
It's called Girl Scout cookies. It's a hybrid, and they call it that because of the flavor. The flavor of it is a real tasty flavor.
Steven,
it's one of those weeds that's not going to get you too high, but it's a nice little mellow, somewhere in the medium.
Did you bring a Girl Scout cookie?
Yes.
Can I
have one in the car?
Oh yeah, one in the car. It's okay. We went one in. And this is Skywalker. So we have Skywalker. We have Gorilla Glue 4.
GG4.
Gorilla. It's called GG4. Now, Gorilla Glue, are you familiar with the product Gorilla Glue? That's a really good glue that I use. And
I've used it too.
You've used it too. What else do we have in there? And this would go inside.
This would go on your battery. So what you do is you have a cartridge, and the cartridge contains, some cartridges contains THC oil. Those are the ones that'll get you actually high. Some of our cartridges only contain CBD products. CBD is used for people that just want to heal. A lot of cancer patients use our CBD products. And also, it will help you with your appetite. These vape pens will help you with your appetite. So you take the cartridge with the oil, you plug your battery up. You have to charge your battery. Battery comes with a USB.
You actually charge it? Now, can I ask you what one of these costs?
Yes, the batteries go for $10 and the cartridges go for $25.
This is a battery?
That is a battery.
And this is a reusable battery.
Reusable battery. You can charge it on your laptop. You can charge it in the car. And people like it because it's just so quick and convenient. Very quick, very convenient. You take your oil, you screw it onto the battery, you push and hold the button, and then you just pull from the vape cartridge.
Now, a lot of your products, they seem to comply with all the regulations. This is, of course, thanks for joining. It would appear that marijuana is light sensitive. It would appear. Are you finding that some of your product, does it have, is it protected from light? Is this protected from light? This probably doesn't need that. But marijuana, generally speaking, do you have to protect it from light? Or does your packaging generally have to have certain, it has to be airtight? It has to be...
Most of our packages are vacuum sealed, airtight, and we use dark wrappers just so that light doesn't seep in there. It's just cool, dark places. You want to keep marijuana cool and dark to keep it fresh. You don't want it to dry out on you.
It mentions a Mylar bag. And I was trying to figure out what a Mylar bag is. Is that just the bag? You know what
it's like a vacuum seal bag.
Oh, a vacuum seal bag?
It's like a vacuum seal bag. You hook it up to a sealer, and then it keeps it food tight, sealed.
And this also has to be, I understand, from some of the regulations, the marijuana has to be heat sealed or sealed so kids can't get into it. And, that's a big problem with kids potentially abusing and using marijuana, of course. Your packaging seems to be okay. Did you have to throw away any of your product at all?
All of our stuff was in compliance. When the new laws came out by July, we were ready. Back in February, back in January, when the year hit, we were already complying with the new laws already back then. We knew how strict they were getting. We saw when we went to the dispensaries and we tried to put our products in the dispensaries weren't taking our products. They wanted proper labeling. Back in the day, we just threw a sticker on there and the dispensaries were selling all of our products. Now when we go to the dispensaries, they're asking for our paperwork. They're asking for our license. It's not as easy as it used to be to get into the dispensaries. We want to get our product into the dispensaries, so now we have to comply with the new laws and regulations.
If you were to, I get a common request from everyone, and the very common request is, how do I get into the marijuana, the field? How do I, where do you recommend someone to get in?
Oh, you got to get an attorney. There are actual marijuana attorneys out here, and they can get you with a business plan and show you the price points of what you want to do, whether it's a delivery service, whether it's a dispensary. You need to get your paperwork in order. So I say you need to hire an attorney to get the laws in place.
Amazon just recently started a program where they're inviting people to start their own business, just delivering. So from what I understand, you need $10,000 to start delivering. And is that something where it's just if you can just deliver marijuana products?
I'm not familiar with that. I haven't heard about Amazon getting into the industry yet, but I'm sure they will. It's a lot of money into it, and Amazon wants a piece of the pie.
So where would you recommend if you have a minimal amount of money and you want to get in, where would you recommend anyone? Would you recommend it's a more fertile market to grow? Would you think it's better to actually just distribute?
I would tell them to think outside the box. Everyone thinks that they can go get a farm, grow some marijuana, and just sell it. You need to do something different. The industry, people have been doing the same thing over and over. I think you need to get creative and think of where the industry is moving. Where do you see marijuana 5-10 years from now? That's how you're going to make your money. Because a lot of people are just opening dispensaries and selling the weeds, but it's getting harder and harder, the competition. So much competition. There's dispensaries on every corner. So you need to get creative. Think outside the box. Where is this industry going in the next 5 or 10 years? People are moving away from the flower and moving towards concentrates. People are dabbing more and using more vape pens and products like edibles. And you need to figure out how you're going to be able to make money in an industry like this.
Stephen, a lot of people don't know this, but my family comes from a long lineage of farmers. We come from a long lineage of sharecroppers. We also, in Georgia, during the Prohibition days, my family actually they had gin stills. They would actually bootleg liquor. And my uncles, my grandfather, they all did bootleg products. And that being that they were able to produce liquor so nicely and they were able to do it so
moonshine,
undercover.
Right?
Moonshine, exactly.
Moonshine.
They were moonshiners, exactly. A lot of my family. When I see marijuana, my feeling is that I could grow it, and I had encouraged some people around me to actually grow it, and I felt we would kill this. We actually, as an experiment, we put in some fresh dirt, we put in some really fertile soil and electrolytes, and really good electrolytes. And we planted our marijuana, and I believe this was 3 weeks ago, and we've gotten zero. I'm so disappointed that we haven't seen anything grown.
Gotcha. So a lot of time people just think they can take their seeds, go out in the backyard, throw them in the backyard, and you're going to get a marijuana plant. But what you do is you need to actually make sure you got some good seeds. You need to make sure you have quality seeds.
How would you know if you have good seeds? Because my seeds were given to me by a reliable source.
Yeah.
And now I'm wondering if my reliable source gave me what my reliable source gave me.
You need to make sure you get your seeds from a seed bank.
So, yeah.
Seeds got to come from a seed bank. A lot of people just find weed seeds, and if you're smoking some buds and they'll pull some seeds out of there, you don't want to use those. Most of those seeds are no good. They're hermaphrodites. They will grow. They'll grow into a plant, but what happens is it's not the type of weed that you want to smoke. Mm-hmm. So the type of weed you want to smoke, you need to actually go to a seed bank, and they know their strains. They classify the strains, and they have feminized the seeds, and they know that they are only females. So once you get the seeds, you need to go on Google or YouTube and Google how to plant these seeds. Yes, you need the right fertilizer, you need the right soil, but you need to also make sure you plant these seeds the right way, and you don't overwater them. Sometimes you can overwater the seed, and you'll kill the plant.
Oh, is that right?
But you also want to make sure when you plant the seed, you don't plant them too deep. I say maybe a half an inch, no more than 3/4 of an inch. If you plant your seeds over an inch deep, it's a possibility they won't sprout.
Well, I certainly planted my seeds more than, or we planted our seeds more than an inch.
I killed them. You killed those little guys, man.
Really?
I'm surprised. By 3 weeks, you definitely should see something now. If you take a little red cup and you plant a seed in there, maybe about half an inch deep in a little red cup, you'll see sprouts by maybe about no more than 5 to 7 days. You should see a little baby leaf coming up.
Is that? And
so
I'm sorry. What's the
period
period of time? I'm sorry.
5 to 7 days.
5 to 7 days.
5 to 7 days, you should see something sprouting up.
And what would the sprout look like? Because I don't know what the sprout looks like.
It's a baby sprout, and it'll have 2 leaves coming up out of it. It's a baby little sprout, and it'll have 2 leaves coming up out of it.
2 leaves that are like marijuana leaves, or 2 leaves that are...
You won't even be able to tell they're marijuana leaves yet.
Is that right?
They're so young.
Is that right?
Before you can actually see a marijuana leaf and identity, it's almost a month.
Is that right? Is that right? Well, that's remarkable. I know we're all familiar with Jack and the Beanstalk. Jack had went and traded his cow. He had a cow for some magic beans. And I guess the thing to take away from Jack and the Beanstalk is his mom was really upset at him for doing that. And she just took the beans and she just threw them out the window. So she didn't really plant them. So I guess I should have probably known not to plant them too deep. So I guess what you're telling me is don't plant the seeds too deep.
Yeah. Even when I have a garden at home. I have Brussels sprouts. I have herbs and things like that. You want to read the package on the back and make sure that you get the depth right when you plant the seeds and the spacing right. Sometimes if you plant the seeds too close together, one plant will end up over-dominating and killing the other plant if you plant them too close together.
Is that right?
So the 2 things you want to check is the spacing and then the depth of your seed when you plant it. And also to make sure it's the right season. When you go to Home Depot and you get herbs and things like that, it'll tell you the season, it'll tell you the depth and the spacing. And those are very important. Because you go outside, you just throw some seeds in the backyard, you wonder why these guys get paid millions.
Well, that's essentially what I did. And although I got to tell you, I felt like I really did a good job planting. I mean, you should see how fertile my soil is. My soil is amazing. It's deep, it's dark,
I got
black.
a question. What kind of soil did you use?
Just potting soil from
Home Depot?
Home Depot, yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't a special soil. I love using things like Miracle Grow. That typically is what I would use.
That's the main commercial potting soil that you get when you go to Home Depot or Ace Hardware or something like that. And when it comes to marijuana, Miracle Grow is one of the worst potting soils that you can use.
Oh, is that right?
It's one of the worst. The nutrients in there. The nutrients in that soil is no good. It's really no good. They give it to you real cheap when you go to Home Depot. It'll make pretty flowers and things like that. But for weed that you're going to be smoking and putting in your body, you want to use a more quality soil.
What
I like Fox Farm.
You like Fox Farm?
Fox Farm. Fox Farm is a good one.
Mm-hmm. I live in Playa del Rey, which you know, and in Playa del Rey, the ground is notorious because it's on a bluff for being a clayish type consistency. So I always thought that the ground in our area was just terrible. I've actually planted blueberries, and the blueberries haven't grown at all. I've got some tomatoes back there. They don't do well. Strawberries don't do that well.
That could be an issue too. The type of soil you're talking about, you may go get potting soil, put it on top of there, but you say all your other herbs aren't coming out right. So what
they come out, they do grow, but I've had some really just poor results. Yeah, really poor results.
I would say getting a brand new potting soil and just trying to get a pot, and grow it right in there with all new soil.
$70 million worth of marijuana, from what I understand, and this is in the LA Times, by the way, $70 million worth of pot had to be destroyed, which is the reason they were selling marijuana so cheaply. Do you know how you destroy marijuana? How would you destroy it?
Smoke it. You would burn it.
You would burn it?
You would burn it. A lot of people say that they burn weed when it's not compliant. I haven't seen it, but I don't believe it myself. I think they really end up selling it for a cheaper price, like you said. But they say when they dispose of this weed, when it's not compliant, that they burn it.
Well, what if you were a police officer and you were to confiscate marijuana? I'm sure, at some point, even if you took it or stole it or smoked, there's no way they would smoke all of it. I'm sure there's a mechanism to get rid of it. And actually, I know, I'm throwing this out to you, I know the mechanism.
A furnace. You take the weed in there, you burn it all up. They do this in Humboldt, too. If you look at some of the weed farms in Northern California where they grow these weed, if they're not compliant and the sheriff officer catches them, they come in there with a torch and they burn the whole farm.
Oh, is that right?
And you see the videos of it. Guys up there, and a lot of time they just get out of there because they don't want to go to jail. They don't hang around. If the police come in there, these guys scatter off, and then the police just end up burning the entire acres and acres of land.
Yeah. What we were told is that there is a there is a furnace that actually has to run like 24/7 because it has to be exceptionally hot. Where in the marijuana, it almost liquefies it and burns it, so that it doesn't really let off the aroma. Some of the weed that I've seen is so aromatic now. Is that just how weed is nowadays? It's just so.
Yeah, back in the day, in your time, you guys were smoking that weak stuff. We got that. We got that good shit now, man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
We got that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It's gonna put you down. You guys were smoking that boo boo back in the day.
Yeah. Does marijuana have to be smoked? Is it better to be smoked in a glass, or is it better to be?
They say that it's more pure. If you're not smoking it in a cigar or getting the tobacco effect, it's more pure. You're getting the more pure form, straight THC and CBD. Some people use joints, and those things, some of the joint papers have bleach in them. And
Bleach?
that's what they say.
And the bleach is for?
I don't know, to make the joint papers white.
Was that right?
That's what they say. I don't smoke joints. I'm a backwood guy. I like the tobacco effect. So.
Is that right? Is that right? Is that right? We were chatting earlier about smoking cigars. Is that something you've ever done, smoke cigars?
I do smoke cigars.
Smoke cigars. Smoking cigars is a totally different mechanism than smoking marijuana, from what I understand. In smoking cigars, you don't really inhale. But with marijuana, you inhale, I believe.
Yeah. With marijuana, you actually inhale it, you intake it, and then you blow it out. With the cigar, you just puff on it, and you get a nice taste, you get a nice flow going, and you don't really want to inhale those cigars. If you inhale a cigar, it's going to put you down. You're going to get real sick.
Some of the newer requirements on some of the marijuana actually has to list the amount of cannabis that's in there, the amount of THC and the amount of CBD. So typically, with the newer regulations, 500 milligrams is what appears to be on your item here. I believe that's a modest amount.
500 milligrams is half a gram.
Half a gram.
That is half a gram worth of oil. Our cartridges come in half gram and 4 grams. The half grams run for $25. The 4 grams run for $45. And you can pick your different strains. We have sativa, hybrid, and indicas.
Tell us how do you get your company again?
How do we have?
How does someone? I've had people, because you've been on our show. I think you were on our show last week, and people ask me how to get stuff from you. How do they?
Weedmaps.com. You download the app. Once you have the app, you go to weedmaps.com and you look up SC Edibles. SC Edibles is delivery service, and you will see a full menu, and our drivers come to the Playa del Rey, Westchester area.
Oh, is that right? Are they limited to that area? Will you go to the valley?
No, we do not go to the valley. We only serve about a 10-mile radius.
10-mile radius? I see. How do you keep your drivers safe?
Our drivers are just like Uber drivers, man. They have an insurance policy, and it's just like Uber drivers. Real simple. They pick up the product. They go out there. They only have so much on them. That's how the main way we keep them safe. And they don't have to do cash transactions. They don't have to take cash. The person can pay right through the app.
Oh, is that right? You pay right through the app? I understood marijuana was almost a completely cash proposition. Has that changed?
It's moving away from that. Not only are people taking money through the app now, people are even taking Bitcoin. I went to a store the other day, and they are taking Bitcoin for marijuana, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
But Bitcoin fluctuates so much. I'm wondering if that's a good way. Do you own any Bitcoin?
No.
You don't own? I don't own any Bitcoin myself. I think my producer has a little Bitcoin. Our producer, by the way, is Lee Michaels. Lee is just a fantastic guy. How's your
$3.42. I spent $70 just as a test. So
is that right? How's your Bitcoin doing? How is your Bitcoin doing? How's it doing?
Horrible.
Good.
You're not making money on it?
I'm losing money right now.
You're losing money.
Bitcoin's been going down.
So if this is a item or a financial entity that you're losing money on, I don't know how you could take Bitcoin.
Whatever is valued at that day.
At the value,
Just
but
like
it would
gold.
change.
It changes daily.
Yeah.
So you check the value of the Bitcoin, and then you come in, and then you, I guess, can only buy that much.
Yeah, I thought about buying Bitcoin, and actually, that was a huge opportunity lost. When people first started talking to me about it, it was in the neighborhood of $300, even cheaper, and now it's
6,000 and change.
It's 6,000 and change.
16,000.
Yeah, so it's $6,000 is what a Bitcoin costs now, but it was as high as as $16,000. I had thought I had heard numbers even
20. I thought I
twenty
got up to
thousand,
19, 20,000.
$20,000.
I watched
So
it.
I wonder if is that just a good way to take money? I'm
I don't know, man. It's so risky. It's so shaky. I'm not putting my money in that thing.
Yeah. So your product is labeled correctly. It has the amount of THC, which is 87%, and the CBD, which is the cannabis oil.
CBD is the part of the plant that actually heals you. Research shows that CBD has some healing effects. You're not getting high off CBD. CBD is the medical aspect of the plant.
Let's say, for example, I'm a person that just loves to sleep. That's my thing, sleeping. Would any of these help me sleep? That's my thing. I love to sleep.
If you can't sleep and you have problems sleeping, I would suggest an indica.
Indica?
More of a head high.
And that's the indica versus the sativa?
Yes, indica versus the sativa. The sativa is more your daytime. It's going to keep you awake. You're going to be creative, and you can function throughout the day. Your indicas are for the end of the day when you're done and you want to put you down. It's going to put you out.
Mm-hmm. Is there indica in your dank tank, or how would I know that?
All the cartridges are labeled. They're labeled indica, sativa, hybrid, according to the strain. So your Skywalker OG is an indica. Your Girl Scout cookies and Gorilla Glue are hybrids.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that on here, but you're telling me it does?
Indica.
It does say indica. Oh, see, it says indica right there. As you get older, I'll tell you, your vision changes, and I just completely missed that. And the other one says hybrid. Why? It does.
Hybrid, sativa, indica.
If my readers or my listeners can see that. So
a lot of the young generation, they want strong weed. They want something to knock them out, kill them, get them high. They like the indicas. I say a lot of my older customers, a lot of my people that are 50 plus and smoking, they can't handle the indicas. They won't go near indica with a 10-foot pole. They want something a little more mild. They enjoy sativas, which are daytime weeds. People can stay creative and focused, and hybrids that taste really good, like your Girl Scout cookies. A lot of my older customers, they can't handle the indica. They grew up on stress and weeds that weren't this strong and weeds that weren't this aromatic. They just can't take it all. So sativas are more your lightweight. I say your green. Your hybrids are your yellow in the middle. And your indicas are your red. Those are the real strong ones. Mm-hmm. So when you go into the dispensary, we categorize it so that you guys know that this is lightweight, this is medium weight, and your indica is your heavyweight. Mm-hmm. It's going to put you down at the end of the night.
It also says on here full indica, or it says full. What does full mean? Is this just a full cartridge?
Full cartridge.
Full cartridge.
We put a sticker on there so that you know that your cartridge hasn't been opened, labeled, or tampered with.
Are these cartridges reusable?
They are reusable. You can refill them, but you need to have an actual lab. This is a very dangerous process, filling these cartridges with the oil. So you need to go to a lab. I wouldn't try to refill these yourself. I don't even do it. We have professionals that do these in the lab, and they're licensed to do it because a lot of people, they blow up their garages trying to do this stuff.
Well, I certainly wouldn't want to do that.
No.
I certainly would not want to do that.
So best thing to do when you get done with these is to throw them away and go get another one.
But you absolutely need
reusable.
the battery. And what is the battery? How does the battery?
Batteries range. This is a battery right here. It costs about $10. Batteries range all the way up to $150. People have big devices, the temperature is what changes on there. You press it one time, it's a mild temperature. You press it 3 times, it's a real warm temperature. It gives you more smoke. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of different batteries. The batteries are reusable. You can get them at smoke shops. Anywhere you go to get tobacco, you can ask them for a battery, and these are universal. These will screw on to any bottom. Our cartridges are universal and will screw on to any battery that you buy.
Everyone knows that I'm a pharmacist, and just a day ago, I had a guy that came into the pharmacy, and he had broken his toe. And just as a matter of talking, I had asked him, as we were giving him some Norco or some Vicodin. Mm-hmm. And as we were giving him the Norco or the Vicodin, I asked him, I says, would you want to treat your pain with marijuana? Mm-hmm. And you know what he said?
What?
Hell no.
Hell no. He wanted the Vicodin, huh?
He wanted the Vicodin.
That's amazing that you say that. Every time I go to the doctor's office, they ask me what medications am I allergic to. Vicodin is one of them.
The Vicodin you're allergic
I've
to?
had some bad reactions to Vicodin after surgery, and I can't have Vicodin. So if somebody told me I broke my toe, I would suggest to them some indica, some sativa, some hybrids, not going to do the job. You need some indica. You need something real strong. It's going to knock you out, take your mind off that toe, and put you down.
One thing on our show is it's really hard to ever really make guarantees. But I guarantee you, if you break a bone, you're going to want some Vicodin or some morphine.
I'm allergic. I'm allergic to Vicodin. I don't like how it makes me feel. Even right now with my disability, I'm going through pain management right now. The doctors are trying to give me these medications, and they don't make me feel real good. I don't know if you understand that, but one, they have addictive qualities. I see my friends and family members that have become addicted to these pills, but some of these things, they don't make you feel good. Yeah, it may help me with the pain, but the feeling of it, I don't like the high from the medication. I don't like the high from that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the way that these Norcos and these Vicodins and all that stuff, it doesn't make me feel real good, man.
I see, but I got to tell you, for pain relieving qualities, if you're given even something in the neighborhood of a lidocaine, which is, and if you look at cocaine, cocaine is an anesthetic, and lidocaine is an anesthetic also. If you were to have a choice between cocaine or marijuana, which do you think would be, or cocaine, marijuana, or Vicodin, which do you think would be better as far as treating pain would go?
That's treating pain, huh?
Treating pain, which do you think would be better?
Well, I think some pain may be out of the reach for THC to treat.
Okay, well, that's good. I agree with that.
I'm thinking it may be some pain may be so intolerable that the right THC, the right CBD may not be the answer for it. But only researchers are going to be able to show that. Only time.
Yeah. Did you know we actually, to this day, we actually use cocaine. If you have some eye trauma, we have a cocaine solution that will actually give you to numb your eye. And it really works quite nicely. It's very similar to...
And that's a good example. I like how you brought that up. Certain incidences like the eye, you guys have cocaine to treat that. What if there's certain injuries on the bottom that we see that weed will treat just perfectly? Just perfectly. Just like the cocaine did for the eye in that incident. What if we do the research and we see maybe not a broken toe, but there's other ailments that people have, and this may help you. THC will treat that.
Well, I'm sold on it. At least I'm not as sold on it as much as we definitely need the research. It's always remarkable, and I am always surprised at the amount of information. There's just an abundance of information about cannabis, and it's probably something that has a future, or at least a future in the U.S. Canada just they just okayed it or just legalized it completely for recreational use. I really feel like cannabis will be more of a recreational drug. I just can't.
You don't see people using it for medical treatments and things like that.
I just think it's a reach.
You think people are just going to get high and go crazy and just get high every night? You don't think they'll be using it to actually treat people?
Well, I know there's a few products that were just approved for seizures and seizure disorders, and seizures is not something that you really take for granted. If you're having a seizure, or have you ever seen anyone have a seizure?
I have.
Oh, that's really a tough thing to see, and even witnessing something like that is really quite the challenge. But if marijuana helps when some things don't help, and anytime someone's admitted with a seizure, I've actually seen people seize so bad, whereas they've actually died, they've actually expired. And that is just a remarkable thing. And a lot of seizures is something that we don't know. There's brain trauma, or there's thought to be some type of anomaly in the brain that where you have a trigger. So you're trying to raise that threshold for that trigger, because when you have a seizure, you reach this point in your brain that your body just convulses. So what I think marijuana does, like any of our drugs do, it raises that seizure threshold, or it raises that point in time where you'll have a seizure. There's the latest movie. What's the latest movie? I think it's the what's the movie with the it's a cartoon.
Incredibles.
Incredibles. They're saying that actually, if you go to see the Incredibles movie, they're saying somehow the light
epilepsy.
It triggers epilepsy.
Yes, I heard the warning. They made it real clear that if you go see the movie and you have epilepsy,
exactly.
you need to be aware that the flashing lights and the colors on there could be an issue.
Have you seen the movie, by the way?
No, I haven't seen
Yeah.
the movie. I have issues with bright lights and colors, so I have to
is that
stay
right?
away from the movie.
Is that right?
Can't do bright lights, man.
I don't want to get personal with you, but have you had seizures? No.
No, I haven't had any seizures, but the bright lights aren't too good for me. Give me headaches.
Give you headaches? Is that right?
headaches.
Okay. I have some studio guests. Have you all seen the new Incredibles?
Yeah.
How
You've
was
seen
it? It was awesome.
Yeah.
Was it better than the first? And our guest, I don't know if you hear my guess, but was it better than the first one?
No.
No. Okay. Well, there you go. I'm told it was not better than the first one. The first Incredibles, I thought, was just a remarkably good movie.
loved it.
It tends to, like a lot of things, it tends to connect with you, and if it connects with you, then that's basically good. But there's that whole seizure threshold, and I guess it wouldn't be so bad smoking before you go by. Since it's a kid's movie, though. We're probably wrong in recommending the movie just based on that. All your packaging seems to be really compliant. How are you guys doing with the edibles? Yes, it is SD Edibles. And what's your major product?
Liquid Gold. We distribute for a company called Liquid Gold. So Liquid Gold makes all of our chocolate bars. They make the lemonades, and they also make their cartridges. They have pure cartridges. So Liquid Gold is our company, and they distribute.
Is there a best seller?
Cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream?
Cookies and cream, 210 milligrams. That chocolate bar is our best seller.
I'm sorry, 210 milligrams. I'm going to guess that's 210 milligrams of THC?
210 milligrams of THC is extremely strong. That is the most amount that we can put into an edible.
Oh, is that right?
Due to regulations, the most that we're allowed to put in there is 210 milligrams. So when you go to the dispensaries, just a couple of weeks ago, I was seeing brownies in there for 250 milligrams. Those are no longer compliant. Those are the type of stuff that we had to get rid of with the new laws. So our cookies and cream 210 milligram chocolate bar is our best seller right now.
That's your best seller?
It's cut up into about 8 pieces, and I'm telling you, one of those pieces will have you right.
Is that right?
I've had people that have tried to take down the whole chocolate bar, and it's not a good idea.
And
It's
what
just
would,
no fun at that point.
and what would what would we see if you?
So I've had some people that have tried to take down the whole chocolate bar. They say, "Oh man, this thing's good. We don't feel it. We don't feel it." But the thing with edibles is that they creep on you real slow. It's a body high. And once it gets in your bloodstream, you can't shake it like you can the head high. When you smoke some weed, it's a head high. You can eat some food and you can come down and chill out real quick and you can shake it real quick. But when you get too much of that THC right into your body, into your bloodstream, and it creeps on you, you can't shake it real quick. It's going to be in you. A lot of people that just knock out and go to sleep for hours
Oh, is that right?
when they overdose. They overdose. They get it into their bloodstream and they overdose, and it knocks them out for hours. Other people, they go into a bad trip. I've seen bad trips on edibles. If you take too much edibles, you don't expect it. You're like, oh my God, how did I get this high all of a sudden? You just start tripping out. I've seen people go to the hospital on edibles.
Yeah, well, we've actually had people admitted to the hospital.
I've
I work
seen it.
locally in a hospital.
And when you get to the hospital, they tell you it's just weed, calm down.
Yeah.
They ended up hooking you to an IV. They tell
Yeah,
you it's
typically-
weed, calm down. You've been tested. There's nothing else wrong with you. You got to get this out your system. It's in your bloodstream.
Has anyone ever died from overdose of marijuana, in your opinion?
Haven't heard of any cases. Haven't heard any cases of marijuana overdose. No. I've heard of animals and pets dying, though. Something that's really
that
not cool. I'm an animal lover.
Yeah.
And if a dog gets into some chocolate cookies and cream edibles, I have heard of pets dying.
Yeah, I'm actually not really a fan of smoking, and almost that I'm almost critical at times. But I've looked at the literature, and I really haven't found anyone that has really died of marijuana, and that is not the case with the Norcos or the Vicodins. People actually can and do die of that. But I think there's probably not enough information to really say that it's you can't really die from it, because I think you can probably die from anything. You could die from too much water or too much soda or
Absolutely.
too much anything. So I don't know. I mean, but I'm not a fan of like recommending marijuana. But if you do take too much of it, typically what they'll do, they'll give you, because you do see psychosis with taking too much. Typically, we'll do Haldol. Are you familiar with Haldol, haloperidol?
No.
Haldol is
Haloperidol?
it's called haloperidol. It's a antipsychotic, and one thing about haloperidol, it has really bad side effects. So I have to wonder if that really is the correct course. You usually give somewhere in the neighborhood of intramuscular dose of Haldol. You'll also give a intramuscular dose of Ativan. It's usually like a half or 1 milligram, and it's called a cocktail. And we'll also give Benadryl. Typically, that just takes and suppresses the person. It really calms them down, and it lets them get past the storm. Marijuana, I think, has somewhere in the neighborhood of about a 6 to 13 hour duration. When you use it, how long do you feel it works?
Wow. I say if I smoke me a backwood right now of that good kush, I say I'll stay high for about 3 to 4 hours.
3 to 4 hours?
Mm-hmm. Then I'll get the munchies and want to do it all over again.
Well, if you can do that, if it works for you, that's good.
It works, man. It works.
Yeah. We're thankful for everyone for being here. This is Mondays with Wallace, and we meet every Mondays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we talk about everything cannabis. We are on SoundCloud, we are on Facebook, and we are also on YouTube. Do you think LA is going to be a better town now that LeBron is here?
LA is the place to be, man. Everybody wants to get their money up and move to LA, man. I was talking to friends on the East Coast. They're talking about coming out here and getting condos, man.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Everybody wants to be in LA right now.
Right now, LA is a great place to be, and it's almost the center of the universe as far as sports goes. The only thing is that LA has so much to do. I felt that if you've ever gone to a Cleveland, I've gone to see a Cavs game, it seems like it embodied the community pro sports does, and taking LeBron away from the community, I thought really certainly wasn't good. LeBron moving to Ohio, it actually increased my property value. I have property in Ohio, and him being there actually increased my property
Amazing.
value. So when you see that type of effect, I don't think you could see that type of effect in Los Angeles. Los Angeles has
LeBron being here will bring up the property value. Let's do the research, man. Him being here, it's gonna the economy, the Bucks. I literally think he can bring up the property value with a couple championships. I think so. I know Cleveland's a smaller town, and we saw the impact sooner. You could see the impact. He came back, and your property value went up quick.
Yeah.
But I think if you can wait and see LeBron being in this town, it's going to be amazing.
I was so disappointed that he didn't sign with the Clippers, and obviously I was wrong.
You thought LeBron was going to go to the Clippers? Come on, man.
I really was hopeful.
I saw Clipper Darrell on Instagram crying yesterday, man.
Clipper Darrell?
Clipper Darrell. We love Clipper Darrell, man. Shout out to Clipper Darrell.
Yeah, Clipper Darrell. He's a good guy. I like him. He loud, though. He actually, Clipper Darrell is a gentleman from the Clippers, and he sits in the stands, and he wears red and blue, and he actually shouts obscenities. Not necessarily, he used to shout obscenities at the players.
Oh, he was cursing on Instagram yesterday.
Is that
right?
But he doesn't do that anymore. But he's actually, the team actually moved him behind me one day, and God, he's really loud.
Oh, he's a mess.
Oh, he's really loud.
Shout out to Clipper Darrell, man. We love you.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And did you know that the guy from, Mark Cuban actually offered Clipper Darrell to move to Dallas, and he took DeAndre Jordan.
Amazing.
Yeah, DeAndre Jordan, who is a big Clipper fan. If anyone sees my Facebook stuff, you can see I have pictures with most of the Clippers, as I'm a big fan of the Clippers. But losing DeAndre Jordan, I think the Clippers are going to really struggle this year. They didn't make the playoffs last year.
And they got Doc Rivers back for another year, man. They just going through the same problems over and over, man. They need change.
You're not a fan of Doc Rivers?
I'm a Doc fan, but it's time for him to go, man.
He traded his son. And you would, if I were to trade my son,
they both need to go. Doc and his son need to go.
But if he made that sacrifice. Can you imagine trading your son?
Absolutely. It's not working out. We don't need to do business together. We can be father son. We don't need to be doing business together.
I always felt the league should step in. I feel like the league should step in on items like that to prevent a player from playing with his dad. Mm-hmm. There's just too many conflicts of interest.
Definitely. And that's what's been holding the Clippers back. They've been having that conflict of interest with his son forever. His son's not that good.
I thought
He's okay.
I thought Austin was good.
He's okay.
I thought he got better.
All
And
right.
playing behind Chris Paul, he certainly got better. But when he came in the league, I honestly thought this was a future Uber driver because I didn't think he was that good. But if you look at him of late, his numbers are really good. He's a solid player. And
He's okay,
and I think we just need to keep Doc just because Doc does have the pedigree of a championship. He did play. He did play in the league.
Time for change, man.
Oh,
Nobody wants to see Doc on the sidelines no more. We love Doc. We're Doc fans, but it's time for change on that sideline.
I'll tell you what Doc is. He's the best coach in Los Angeles. Do you think Walton's a better coach than Doc?
Resume show. Doc got the championships. I'm going to say no, he's not a better coach.
And
But I'm more excited to see Luke Walton on the sideline with those young faces and that young excitement and that young core than to see old Doc and the veterans, and they just looking like they all need to retire. No, Doc ain't selling no tickets. Don't nobody want to see Doc in that team.
well, that's not true. I buy tickets, so but that's okay.
They got you locked in at the old season ticket price, man.
Yeah, well, that's true. We'll have to go to a game together. As you all know, that this is Mondays with Wallace, and I'm Wallace. We're board certified pharmacists. We talk about everything and anything cannabis. One thing with cannabis, it seems to help with depression. What is your thoughts about depression and treating cannabis?
I think a lot of my friends now, they have depression and they're smoking their lives away. It seems like it can help you and it can hurt you. Smoking weed can help you and it can hurt you. If you're smoking the right strain to treat depression, if you go to a doctor and you get the right strain to treat depression, you're on the right path. But if you're depressed and you're at home and you're just smoking blunts and you think your problems are going to change by smoking each blunt away, you're going down the wrong path.
If you could, I want to provide just some questions to you, and I want to know if I want a yes or no answer.
Cool.
I want to know, can you treat depression with marijuana?
Yes.
Yes. Can you treat pain with marijuana?
Yes.
Now, we said no to that.
No, yes.
We said no to that.
We
But
said the broken toe might not be a good idea, but pain?
so, okay.
I know girls with broken hearts and they smoke a blunt and they're right back.
Okay, so you can treat a broken heart?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Your boyfriend leaves, you smoke a blunt, it's treated.
It's treated. Okay.
It's treated.
I see. Okay.
Forget about it.
Can you treat loneliness with it?
Can you treat loneliness with it? Absolutely. I think loneliness is nothing but a state of mind. You tell yourself you're lonely, you're bored, you're telling yourself that. You say it's you and your joint and you're having a good time and a wonderful day today, you're no longer lonely.
You can't treat suicide, but do you feel marijuana can be helpful in preventing suicide?
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
I see. Okay. How about sleeplessness?
Yes.
And
I use it for sleeplessness.
So sleeplessness, where you can't sleep.
Where I can't sleep. Exactly. Yes, I use it. I have insomnia.
Oh, you have insomnia? Mm-hmm. When do you find you typically sleep?
Oh, man. When do I sleep? After about 3 shots of Don Julio and a backwood.
Oh, is that right? Is that right? Do you drink?
I do.
Do you drink?
I do.
Can you drink with marijuana?
Yeah. I enjoy using tequila and marijuana together. You need to watch how you dose them because once you get drunk and high, it's a different effect. But yes, you can drink and use marijuana together at the same time.
Years ago, probably when you were born, there was a lady called Karen Quinlan. Does my Lee? Do you remember Karen Quinlan? Karen Quinlan. She was a young lady that actually took some opioids and narcotics, and she actually drank liquor after that. And what happens if you drink alcohol and opioids, Norco or Vicodin and what have you? What happens is you get an issue called respiratory depression. And you're breathing now, you're breathing normally. And this is not the case with marijuana, I believe. But so as you're breathing,
It's
you
a
and I.
bad reaction.
Yeah, it is a bad reaction, but you're breathing normally, you and I, and we're talking, and you're doing a really great job breathing and talking at the same time. because your voice comes out really well. Mine doesn't do so well. My Lee does a really good job with it, but you're breathing normally because your body is telling yourself to breathe. What happens with respiratory depression is your brain stops telling your body to breathe.
I know what you mean.
So you stop breathing.
The opioids reaction with the alcohol tells your body to slow down, and it's not thinking to breathe. Usually you don't even think to breathe. You just do it naturally.
Exactly.
But the opioids reaction with the alcohol tells your body it's just not doing it.
Exactly, not to breathe. So that's what happens is you actually die. And the reason I mentioned Karen Quinlan is because there was this huge court case where her brain had stopped. She had stopped breathing, and she was in a coma, and her parents had wanted to turn off her. This is one of the first cases when they wanted to turn off her breathing apparatus, and they wanted her to have the ability to die. And it was this huge, right to life court case. Do they have the right to do that? And ultimately, they did. She did die. I think she had lived for maybe a couple of years, but maybe my listeners or my readers will know, when she died. But she did die. I think it was in the early 80s. I think you're probably born in the 80s, probably. But this is Mondays with Wallace. I'm Wallace. We meet every Monday in Culver City at the Power of Voices studio. Our guest today is Stephen Cotton from
SC Edibles. Check us out at scedibles.com. That's Southern California Edibles, SC Edibles.
Okay. This is just about going to wrap it up. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We would like to also thank Lee Michaels and Josefa Salinas of the Power of Voices Network. You can tune on with us each week on Facebook. We are on SoundCloud, and we are also on, I think we're on Instagram, too. My name is Wallace. This is the Mondays with Wallace podcast. Thank you for being with us. Thanks for being on Flight Los Angeles, Flight 430. 420. Is that 430?
Every day is 420.
Every day is 420.
Every day is 420.
See you next week, everyone.